it's Yamina. I hope everyone is doing well. In today's video, I wanted to talk about something related to art. So this is one of my art books that I've had over the years since I was a... Anyway, the art is from since when I was a child into my early 20s. I actually got this archival book sometime in college, I'm pretty sure. So I've done 2 art book talk throughs, basically just talking about my art pieces that I did over the years and why and when and what they're about. And I have one more to do, so I'll be doing that. And in both of my, in I think in one of them for sure, I had mentioned that my mom had said something about like my art pieces not looking like black women, like they all look like white women. And I was just like, I was kind of taken aback because I was a teenager, or not even a teenager yet. I was probably in my early teens at the time when she said that, and I was taken aback because I was just like, wow, okay, I guess they don't look black, even though like I thought they did look like people of color. And there's like so many kinds of people of color, so I definitely had at times like drawn people who were supposed to be native, drawn people who were supposed to be Asian, and people who were supposed to be African American. So like I drew various people, but I guess also some of them looked European or white to my mom as well. So I was taken aback because I was just like, wow, like black artists have to draw black people only or something. And the thing is, I didn't say anything to her because sometimes when my mom said like things that were kind of critical like that about like my art or my writing or something, I didn't know what to say back to her. But I realized over the years, since the time I was 7, and probably since the time I was 4, because my mom said I was watching TV when I was 4 years old as well, but I also started reading books when I was 3. She said that I was, like, I knew I was an avid TV watcher by the time I was 7, and I watched TV all up until I was in my early 20s, and I watched all kinds of programs. I watched programs that had white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, not too many native people, unless it was like more like a period piece, like a piece, a historical piece kind of, but usually not a documentary, just like a piece that could have been not historical, but a piece that would include indigenous people. But yeah, I watched so much television. Most of it was sitcoms and TV programs. Very few of it was like movies. And I just watched a lot. I took in a lot of people's features and faces and all that stuff. So I'm assuming that got incorporated into the artwork that I did. And I don't consider myself to be an artist, but I love art. I appreciate it a lot, and I follow a lot of artists on Instagram. But I was just like, I was didn't know what to say to my mom at the time, but I realized later on that's probably why these people didn't look just black, because I was seeing so many people. And even though I grew up in New York City around a predominantly black community, I also grew up with a lot of Spanish speaking people who were people of color, and who were also white Hispanics as well, Latinos, Latinas, Latinos, who were white or people of color from those cultures. And so I saw a lot of different people. I also grew up, like, I had a really good friend when I was 7 years old who was Chinese American, and there was actually twins, so I was really cool with them, even though I pinched their cheeks too much. Their cheeks. But I grew up around a lot of people. I watched a lot of TV, so that was going to get incorporated into my art, because I definitely did the people that I drew from my head and from my imagination, and not from people on television. So, and then also like a few portraits of friends of mine. So the art that I was going to do was going to obviously incorporate people that I've seen in real life, even if they weren't the actual person that I knew or saw on television or knew or saw in real life. So yeah, so that's the one thing I wanted to say about that. But also, let's see, what's the other thing? And I'm gonna show in my thumbnail is gonna be an art piece done by one of my college mates. She was a friend of mine, an acquaintance, and we used to go to social events together with our friends. And we would also, I braided her hair one time for like 3 hours, and she gave me this art piece just when she was leaving out college. I think she left after the second year of college. I don't think she graduated, but she gave that piece to me and I appreciated it. But that piece is a Japanese person, and there's in the thumbnail gonna be a Barbie of mine that I have that's Japanese as well, and I got her during my years in college. My friend never saw that Barbie, even though we were friends, acquaintances. She never came to my dorm room, so she never saw that Barbie. And the thing is, she's a Filipina woman, and she is brown skin, like my complexion, with black hair, long straight black hair, and would she's been an artist since she was young, and her relatives would always question why she was drawing Asian people who were like the paler versions, and basically Chinese, Japanese, Asian people, instead of drawing people that looked more like her. And her relatives would question her about it, and she didn't know what to tell them, and she just thought it was beautiful and normal to just draw what she felt like drawing. So I thought that was fascinating, because I don't think I told her what my mom had questioned me about, but I was just like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, draw people from your continent, even though she's from the country of Guam, which is a U.S. territory, and it is, oh, my mouth is outside of my room, but outside, it is outside of, it's below Japan, and it's somewhere on, yeah, it's below Japan. I forget what that sea is there, but it's a U.S. territory. It's a tiny island, and that's where she's from. But we went to college together. But yeah, so she was questioned by her relatives, and over the years that I've been on Instagram since 2016, and over the years I've been following multiple artists. They are of African descent, they're European descent, and they are of mixed race or biracial. Like, some of them are mixed race, some of them are biracial. Follow multiple artists, and they draw who they feel like drawing. And some of them draw people that only look like them, and some of them draw people who don't look like them, and some of them do both. Like, different people do both. So there is one artist who's actually like European. I feel like she's European. I want to say European American, but I feel like she's actually European, but she might live in the States. And she draws everyone. She draws women predominantly, animals, women, and flowers. And the people that she draws are always like black women, Asian women, white women, and just like everybody. And it's Hispanic women too. Don't want to, and I don't want to not include them, because I'm going to bring up another video later. But she draws everyone, and she actually posted 2 reels on her Instagram recently, where people were like, you just draw colored people, you just draw people of color, why? And she was like, she didn't really respond. She actually would just draw who she felt like drawing in response to that question, because it was basically a comment. She would pull up the comment, post it as the head of the reel, and then she would draw whatever she felt like drawing at that moment. And I love that. Like, to me, any artist who draws someone who looks like them, it's a work of art. Anyone who draws someone who doesn't look like them, it's a work of art. And as long as the artist is not showing like hate towards somebody when they're actually, let me make sure this camera's straight. Any artist who's drawing someone who doesn't look like them, and it's not showing a hateful action towards that person in the art piece, that's what we're looking for. We want someone to show love and appreciation when they're drawing someone who doesn't look like them, and when they're showing someone that does look like them. So yeah, I just like art that shows love and appreciation for the beauty and the existence of people who don't look like us, and who do look like us, who do look like us, because it's beautiful to show that little bit of harmony that the world needs with the artists who choose to draw and share who they feel like drawing and sharing, and whatever medium they do it in, because some people do it in flat visual art and watercolors and paints and inks, and some people do it with sculptures and glass art, and yeah, just so many different mediums. I follow so many different artists. Most of the artists I follow are African descent. Some of them are biracial or mixed, and few of the artists I follow are European American, white American, and to me, European American is white American, but I tend to say white American. Sometimes I just say white. So yeah, it just varies, but most of them I follow are mixed, biracial, or of African descent. And I love to see the art that the people do. There's also another lady that I follow. She's of African descent, but she lives in France, I think. Yeah, she lives in France. And she started off, I started following her in 2020 or 2021. She was doing perfume bottles, and then she disappeared, and then I found out she had expanded her family. After I reached out to her, I found that out, and she was actually doing landscapes and portraits, and I was just like, ooh, I want to see your art. So she gave me her page to follow, so I've been following her, and she draws portraits of people who look like her. She draws portraits of people that don't look like her. She draws people that she feels like drawing. She draws beautiful landscapes. She draws flowers. Her landscapes are beautiful. Her portraits are beautiful. Her self-portraits are beautiful. She's a talented lady. She doesn't show her face a lot, but she's also beautiful herself. And she's a talented lady. But yeah, I just love to see the work that people do of other people, because I'm a people person. To see the work that people do of other people, whether they look like them or not, and just share the art. Like, I just love art. So yeah, I wish my mom hadn't said that to me, but there's been times when she said weird things to me, and it didn't stay with me, but I definitely realized, oh yeah, I did incorporate like trying to make people look more African when I was doing my art. But then I was like, let me just do what I'm gonna do, and I'll deal with it later. So yeah, I've just been around so many people growing up. I've watched so much television. It was inevitable that I was going to draw someone who didn't look like me. And I actually only made my self-portrait once. I took it to camp with me, and it got thrown away because they never reached out to me before they threw it away. And I've never drawn myself since. So yeah, I don't have that piece anymore. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's the end of my video. I just want to talk about like accepting people's art for what it is, whether they're the same race of the people that they represent or a different race from the people that they represent. Like, it's great to see whatever people want to share and all that good stuff. So that's the end of my video. I'm trying to remember how to turn this off. Have a good night. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.